This is the new LG WM3500CW. This is LG's entry-level front-load washer. Let's go over some specs. For wash cycles, you have the tub clean, whites, bedding, heavy duty normal, permanent press, delicates, towel, speed wash, and your downloaded cycle. The downloaded cycle is, you could download an app by LG, and I think it's called Smart ThinkQ, something like that. And you could kind of just play around with your washing machine from your phone. To each their own, I suppose. This is the control panel. This has your extra options: the fresh care, pre-wash, delay wash. The add a garment button is kind of a weird button because it's the same as the pause button. So either way, you have your temperature selections. You got hot, warm, semi-warm, cold, and tap cold. All cold rinses. Your spin is low, medium, high. Soil level is light, normal, heavy. And then your end of cycle signal over here, which is off, low, or high. You also have a cold wash feature, extra rinse, rinse and spin, and then the control lock to keep the kids from starting the cycle. All said, this is a pretty basic washer, about as bare bones as you can get as far as LG's machines are concerned. It still does come with a 4.5 cubic foot tub, which is pretty impressive. I mean, this thing could hold quite a bit of clothing, and it does have the anti-vibration system, which is fantastic. This washer very rarely goes off balance. And it also does have the 6-motion wash technology. Let's take it apart and see what's inside. So as you can see, I dismantled almost this entire washer with just a Phillips screwdriver, or a Phillips drill rather. This washer is incredibly easy to service once you understand how to take it apart. LG really did a good job laying everything out in such a way that it's relatively easy to access. Being that this washer is pretty basic, there's really not a whole lot to see. In the back corner here you have your water level switch, you have your hot water valve, your tri-cold valve. You also have this is a power filter. This is the main control board. This is the soap dispenser. And then going towards the bottom you have your lid lock, which would be kind of like in this general area. And then your water pump. Now what's new for this year is that the LG drain pumps are DC operated now, which probably doesn't mean much to you, but it is incredibly quiet now when it's draining, so that's kind of a big thing. Probably uses less energy as well. This washer does have a little temperature sensor too, and then in the back is the same as all LGs. It's basically a rotor and a stator, and that's about it. This washer only sits on 3 suspension supports, but it manages to keep everything together pretty well. This machine is incredibly easy to service once you understand how to take it apart. It has a manual test mode where you could test every function of the machine before you even have to take it apart. Common failure points on LG is the drain pump, the hall sensor, and occasionally the splined tooth behind the rotor, which are pretty inexpensive parts to replace. It does get a little expensive if you try and pay a servicer, only because generally service people like to charge a premium for LG appliances. They give the perception that they're more difficult to work on, when in fact they're actually easier to work on than most appliances. I was able to take this machine apart in just under 3 minutes flat. Now granted, I've been doing this for a long time. Anybody with a little bit of mechanical aptitude and a Phillips screwdriver and obviously a YouTube video could figure out how to take this machine apart relatively simple. Let's put it together and start doing some laundry. And there you have it, 6 minutes and 20 seconds. And I struggled with the door gasket a little bit. The hardest part is getting the door gasket spring clamp back on. It requires a little bit of patience. There exists a special tool that you could buy from LG, but it's not really worth it to buy if you're just a homeowner. It's like $100 and you're only going to use it maybe once or twice. You could use just 2 screwdrivers and just spread the spring and try and get it to fit over the bellow. It's a little tricky, but you'll get the hang of it. The control panel is pretty easy to use. It's very intuitive. You just press the power button and you set your cycle. This one I'm going to do a speed wash. You have your options here. Now this is one thing that people have been complaining about a little bit with the new LGs, is that this screen is a little bit difficult to read, especially in low light conditions. So I'm not going to pick any options on this. I'm just going to run it through a little bit of a test run. I'm going to do the hot, but you could pick your cold wash if you wanted to. Extra rinse. You could pick up to 3 extra rinses. That's pretty impressive. You also have just a rinse and spin cycle, which is just 12 minutes. Let's see, the delay wash, I'm sure you could delay up to, let's see, up to 19 hours, so you could almost do your laundry in a day in advance. You could also, if you don't really like the sounds, you could just, you know, shut it off and it's no big deal. You won't hear any noises. Anyhow, that's it. It's pretty simple. There's really not much to it. This is a pretty stripped down version of LG, just because it's not the top of the line model, but it does have enough that you could take care of some business. But the real question is, does it really wash? Let's find out.